Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to Muscova Media Podcast on the Muscova Media Network, sponsored by Muscova Enterprises, a full-service digital marketing agency, which you can find at muscovaenterprises.com. That's MOSCOVA, enterprises.com. Shout out to Muscova Enterprises for doing all that digital marketing work for clients all over the globe, and we are definitely looking to expand in countries all over. So shout out to our listeners where we are gaining more traction in India as well as other places. So shout out to all our great listeners and the great company doing most of our marketing and digital acquisition as far as getting us more traction and awareness. So shout out to you guys at Muscova Enterprises, which I happen to also work at. So I would like to, again, thank all the amazing and superlative achievers that I call my listeners. For without you, we wouldn't be here. Definitely call in. Be sure to tell me in the comments or on social media who you would like to see me interview next. We're definitely doing a couple great episodes as we build up over here. We are proud to say that we actually recently got signed to SAG-AFTRA, so this show is now SAG-AFTRA. As far as working directly with SAG-AFTRA, so we are thankful for that because that's always been a goal of mine to be in SAG. now I created an actual entity that will allow me to do the work that SAG actually recognizes. So I am very, very thankful for that. As far as other work that we're doing, we are expanding the company and services, so we will be able to reach more people. That is one thing that we're always about as far as expanding our network. So we have joined more networks so that we can be in more places around the globe. For example, we joined the network in Spain. But, of course, you can find us all over Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, as well as Blog Talk Radio, the big mama jamma Blog Talk Radio, giving us the okay to spread the word and use their platform. Blog Talk Radio has been around for a long number of years now, and their technology and how they allow people to do podcasts is amazing. It's one of the top-notch systems out here. People can call in and everything. So shout out to Blog Talk Radio for allowing us to use their platform. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. A lot of amazing news going on. Apparently, the U.S. lost the war to Afghanistan, so we are not in Afghanistan per se anymore. People are being evacuated, and that is a good look as far as now we can focus on maybe some other domestic issues. We'll see. But as of now, the U.S. has technically lost the war to Iraq. But that's okay. I just wish a lot of my friends didn't have PTSD from actually fighting in that war. So they've come home with that and now are dealing with that. The weather is getting crazier and crazier in locations around at least the U.S. Over here on the East Coast, the other week we had a hurricane, and it was threatening to have another one, knowing that we know that New York is definitely not prepared for such things. Subways are flooded, and apparently 46 people plus in the area died from the flash flooding. So that was not a good look. So we are weary about that, as they also mentioned tornadoes when these things happen. So that's not something we over here on the East Coast are exactly used to. So it was presenting some issues. I have some video footage on my Instagram and TikTok of some main roads that were flooded, and Jeeps and vans and trucks were also victims to those floods. And these were regular main roads that you would think are properly filtering the water out of the system. So we definitely have some things going on up here. So it's not all roses and dandelions or whatever you want to call them over here. So my people around the world know that we are with you and also looking to do good and to make sure our communities survive. I am Haitian American, so recently there was another earthquake. I've been able to create donations to charities on my social media for that cause, so I'm thankful about that. Yet a lot of my brothers and sisters in Haiti can use more assistance as far as donations for products and even services, as they are rebuilding right now as we speak, yet without much help. So hopefully that will get done ASAP as we continue to support and give donations. But, so thankfully over here we haven't had to deal with anything too catastrophic yet. You know, the changes in the weather patterns are becoming more and more evident as we expand over here on the East Coast of the United States. Thankfully, we're not dealing with wildfires like they are on the West Coast of the United States. So we give thanks for that one. Okay, so as far as some great teachers that are in the mix right now, definitely make sure you get your study on. If you are seeking solutions for what to do, be sure to hit me up. There's also the Red Pill and Blue Pill, Red Pillar from Know the Ledge television. Also, be sure to look out people like Bobby Hemmett, Dr. Phil Valentine, who are still spreading the information on what's going on in our community, as well as some solutions that are viable to assisting multiple types of people to survive and get out of whatever situation might be encumbering them from expanding to their true selves. So those are the type of people I like to listen to that have helped me to prepare and expand for what's going on. Another thing that's going on over here in the United States is the great, I'm not sure what they call it, but basically people are not wanting to do these jobs anymore, whether they be restaurant jobs or different high-level CEO or mid-level management jobs. People are not applying and going after these jobs as far as the majority of people. The gig economy is becoming more relevant and prevalent to these people, and people are figuring out ways to create income without a so-called job, still working and creating income streams through either creating classes or products and services, soaps, whether they know how to be a mechanic or they know about running companies or nonprofits. People are expanding and doing these services themselves. One thing that supposedly should be getting bigger soon is private teaching, where a teacher takes up maybe 5 students or more and privately teaches them for a family on their own without the school system, but making sure that, these kids get the proper education from an actual teacher. This is something that's becoming more and more widely seen over here in the United States, and should become more and more evident as far as that might be the new way to teach these kids, because these mass classes on Zoom don't seem to be making kids smarter, but kind of making it easier for them to trick the system, because everything is online. It's not that complicated to plagiarize. There's people that their whole job is to write essays and papers for students from college level to high school. I wish I exactly had that. When I was going to school, it was mostly girls or smart dudes writing the things and papers for jocks. So that's what I noticed in going to school. But nowadays, kids can get everything, usually from somebody, a PhD overseas, can write something and then dumb it down for them, so that they can present it to the teacher, and it looks like they write it. And people can literally do that after they leave school, because so many people from different countries, whether on Fiverr or other sites, are willing to do so much for, to us it's little, but to them it's actually, sometimes like a whole month's salary. So there's a lot going on with that. I do have a godson right now in college, in medical school, I believe in Virginia. So, hopefully he can use something like that. If not, you definitely don't want to have everyone that's graduating college not actually able to write or create on their own. That would not be a good look. So students out there, start doing some of your own work, and be sure to learn what you can, even during COVID times, because we will have to adapt, but it won't always be exactly like this. So definitely be sure to get that going on. Yet today, again, I want to thank the sponsors of Scope Enterprises. I also want to thank SAG-AFTRA for allowing this program to be part of its system. I really appreciate that. And all the great paperwork that you sent me to fill out. I mean, paperwork that you're just like, what the heck? Then I just do another document that had the same exact questions or whatever. Like, what was this? What's this? So, but anyway, thankful for that opportunity, and I will continue to expand on it as Muskova Media or Muskova Enterprises is signed to SAG-AFTRA. Yet today, we do have an amazing, cool guest that emailed me to be part of this show, so I'm thankful for that. Thankful for, Podmatch for allowing us to use that system to connect with fellow podcasters and guests. And there's also some other ones that I use as well, but that one seems to be pretty efficient as far as creating the system for us to matriculate new guests that are interesting. So thank you to that platform. But again, like I was saying, today we do have an amazing, cool guest. Emily McGill is a communications and tarot reader. After nearly a decade and half working in entertainment in New York City, as a storytelling strategist and Broadway publicist, her path of self-exploration led to healing and evolution, and reading tarot cards professionally alongside her communications work. Emily's passions are unlocking the magic in others, amplifying unheard voices, inner and outer, offering platforms for open dialogue and creating meaningful experiences while cultivating community. She is the founder of the Pink Tank, a women's group integrating the personal and the professional, and co-founder of S.N.O.B, S.N.O.B, Sunday Night on Broadway, a Broadway industry dance party. She is also a member of PR collective Spiral 5 and a co-author of their signature course, The Career Rebel's Guide to Modern PR. Currently in development is Emily's The Broadway Tarot. With 20 credits, Emily has represented the Tony Award-winning productions of Raisin in the Sun, starring Denzel Washington, Memphis, Billy Elliot, Disney's The Lion King, plus Disney's Aladdin, Andrew Lloyd Webber's School of Rock and Cats, He's Allegiance, This Is Our Youth, Rock of Ages, Ghost, Elf, and First Date. Since her theatrical start, she's expanded out to other forms of entertainment, including film, TV, streaming, and worked with companies large and small from Disney, HBO, and Amazon Studios to boutique talent agencies, internet startups, nonprofits, string quartets, plus male strippers. Yes, she also works with male strippers. So that's all the different people that she has worked with. As you can see, that's pretty expansive. So definitely be sure to check out S.N.O.B and the Pink Tank. The links are in the actual bio or description of the episode below. So scroll down to that or go to Blog Talk and check out that link, or anywhere, iTunes, Spotify, they should be everywhere. And be sure to check out those websites so that you can be more in tune with Miss Emily McGill, who is actually live on the line. Hey, Emily, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you today?
Pretty good. Can't complain. Where are you calling from?
I am calling you from Manhattan, about a block and a half from Times Square, so right in the thick of it.
Oh, wow. How was dealing with the recent hurricane over there?
I was very fortunate. I was very, very, very fortunate that I was not affected personally. And even my friends in basement apartments were affected either not at all or minimally. So we were very, very fortunate in comparison, especially in comparison to so many other people who lost everything and or their lives. So yeah, it was a big storm, and now, once again we start rebuilding.
Definitely. Yeah, luckily over here as well, we live in good areas where, for the most part, my friends and family were not affected, but the roads were so messed up for a couple of days. A lot of touring. I'm in Central Jersey.
Okay, yeah. So you had like tornadoes and stuff.
Yeah, there were tornado warnings, but I luckily didn't see any. So again, luckily the universe spared us, yet also made us aware of its strength and power. That water is no joke. When it wants to go somewhere, it goes.
Yep. Water can have so many beautiful creative properties, and it can have incredibly destructive properties at the same time.
Yep, definitely. The universe works that way, which is pretty amazing, as far as how the universe works and natural law or whatnot. We're just part in this great stage, which brings me back to you. You work doing tarot, which you started recently, as well as working on Broadway in different stages as far as doing PR for these different companies and brands. It says you actually have credits with these plays or whatnot. Does the PR count as credits, or were you also an actor on these stages?
I grew up performing, but I knew I did not want to be a performer before I even graduated with my degree in theater. And I moved to New York and started working in all kinds of different internships and offices, and ended up in PR. So no, I'm not an actor. Anytime someone works on a Broadway show and their name is in the playbill, that's one of their credits. They've worked on that. So it's no different from, any client work that one has done, that being like a credit. So yeah, same thing.
Oh, that's amazing. That's some great information, because there's so many different types of jobs in
oh my God, yes.
Being in Broadway or whatnot. It's not just simply the actor's job. That's the only one. There's so many ways to be part of a production. So that's cool that you were able to turn that around into that after graduating school or whatnot. What actually got you into tarot?
My therapist got me into tarot.
Okay. Did you learn through your therapist, or did you study on your own?
Mostly studied on my own. She introduced me to the idea. I started seeing her in 2014 when my grandmother died, and my grandma and I were really close, but she also was like a very difficult and complicated and traumatized woman who traumatized other people because of her own trauma. So I went to therapy and I started working on my shit. And am I allowed to swear? I should have asked.
You're good. YouTube will just switch it.
Okay, great. You can bleep me out. Sorry.
No worries.
Yeah, I started going to therapy, and we would pull a card every now and again during my sessions, and then after a while I was looking for a daily practice to add to my life, and my therapist suggested I start pulling a card every day. And I didn't own any tarot decks at the time, but there was an app that I downloaded on my phone, and so I can't, I don't like to see those little red bubbles, so I had a reminder set every morning to check and read the card on my phone and pull a card. And that's how I started learning the deck. Was every morning I would open the app, I would pull a card, and then I would tap it, it would flip it over and let me know what the meaning was. And I would probably did that for I would say 3 or 4 years. And then I was gifted my first tarot deck. And it was the same deck as that app was, the Osho Zen Tarot deck. And once I was gifted that, I started, practicing reading for other people, just for friends, checking it out, seeing what was happening. And then the pandemic hit. And so I started reading for friends on FaceTime and Zoom and doing them over the internet. And that's been a big part of my pandemic pause over the last year and a half, has been deepening and expanding my tarot practice and getting to connect with more and more people through it.
And how long does it take for you to get good at tarot reading? Is it something that you can pick up as soon as you memorize the cards, or and how deep of information do you get for people to help them? How far deep are you able to go?
Yeah, so a reading is as shallow or as deep as the person who is participating wants it to be, or allows it to be, rather. When you show up to a reading really present and open, a lot can happen. I've experienced myself both as the reader and as the person who's having their cards read, very impactful readings that have, changed the course of people's lives. That helps. I like to say a tarot reading is a visual representation of information that you hold within your gut or your spirit or your heart. And it's information that you can't necessarily access through your head, but seeing the cards in front of you allows you to have the information in a new way and better understand it.
Interesting. To make better, I guess, not only business decisions, but life decisions or whatnot.
Yeah, better decisions, period, because you have more information to work from. It's you already know what your gut is saying, right? If you know how to listen to yourself, you know what you're saying. But sometimes it's still really hard to hear that. And so tarot helps us do that.
Oh, so tarot's like a second opinion or confirmation, or actually maybe the first in a way.
Yeah, it's like validation or affirmation. But sometimes it's not great. It's not great information. They're not always good, as much as I would like them to be. Sometimes there are things in people's lives that really need change, and they need a big sort of waking up moment. And sometimes the tarot does that.
Yeah, that's amazing. To be able to tap into, I guess, the universe and get that information to be able to use. But some people actually think tarot is, negative or not a good, or they think it's basically magic or something like that, especially Christians or things like that. You approach maybe a Christian or somebody that is deterrent to using a tool that. How do you express that it's just, another tool on the tool belt and not something of the devil?
Yeah. So I was raised Roman Catholic. I went to Catholic school for, 10 years or so. My parents still go to church every Sunday, and my mom, I'm pretty sure, believes in creationism. And she still is open to tarot readings. She doesn't quite get it, but she's open to it. And I preface this with that because there is a lot of deep belief that there's a stigma involved in tarot. But really, we are all, I would say to a Christian and to anyone, we are all children of God, right? Anyone who's religious believes that we are all children of God. And God is presenting himself, themselves, herself through each of us. And so when we read the tarot, we're really just connecting to our own highest power. Some people like to say God. Some people like to say the universe. Some people say higher power. Some people say, the one. I mean, there are so many different ways that we all express the exact same thing. And this is really an opportunity to just tap into yourself and tap into your higher power. And there's nothing, there is no devil involved in it. There is no religion involved in it. It's really just relationship with yourself and getting a deeper relationship with yourself. And I don't understand why magic has a negative connotation, because magic is special. We think about magic when a magic show, that's surprise and delight, even though it's illusion, right? That's actually tricking people in a lot of ways. But there's so much beauty to be celebrated in allowing magic to be in our life. It's a positive thing to me.
Definitely. The United States actually holds magic to a high regard and one of the higher sciences. It's actually stated in as a U.S. statute and code. I'll have to look for it, but it's definitely yeah. I forgot the exact wording, but it states basically that magic is. Huh?
There's still so many taboos around, the origins of what we call magic. But it's interesting because, I've been really nerding out on all of these space documentaries during the pandemic. There was a 9-season series that I watched about how the universe works on Discovery Plus. I couldn't get enough of it. And what I've come to learn more and more through that is that science and spirituality are really one and the same, because everything is energy, and matter is energy. And when you look at science, E equals MC squared. Energy is matter moving at the speed of light squared. I mean, it's the same thing, and we're all made of it.
Right. This is what a lot of my ancestors in Kemet or Egypt and Africa were looking to express through their teachings. Yet these were later taken and kind of the information was taken away from the people and the masses, only kept by certain groups. But now, especially in the age of Aquarius and this internet age, all this information is coming out to the public. Yep. And the universe and spirituality and religion do have really keen connections to each other. Even Jesus would express how we are like his Father and the Creator, and we're just spirits living in flesh. And once people could get more inclined to that, they kind of open themselves up to more ways of gaining information and light or light or whatnot. And people read their newspapers and different magazines every day, and they look at their readings all the time. But tarot is definitely taking it to another level. What's the most interesting thing you think you can learn from somebody using tarot, or someone can learn about themselves?
Oh, I mean, it's so personal. It's so personal. Every reading is, even when I'm doing group readings, they are always personal. Everyone who needs to be in that space is and needs to see that, sees it. And so I think it's more about continually seeing how impactful they can be. That's what's been the coolest or best part.
Oh yeah, that definitely makes sense.
I just got to do I just got to read some tarot for virtual Burning Man. So Burning Man, you know, the big gathering in the desert every summer. I was actually scouted by another woman named Emily McGill, who lives in Vancouver and was part of the digital Burning Man. And she got me involved. And I read tarot for 4 days for 2 hours a night in their like digital Burning Man. And it was amazing because I got to read for people all over the world. There was an Australian woman in Indonesia. There was a woman in Denmark. There were several people in the UK. There was somebody in LA, somebody else in, I think, like San Francisco. And like I'm sitting in New York and she's sitting in Vancouver. And it was just so cool to get to connect with people all over the world. So I think like the other part too is like the community part of it. When you start finding people that are interested or curious. That's all.
Right, and you guys all come on board on the same accord or whatnot.
Yeah, because like the other thing you asked earlier about like how to learn, you're asking about like sorry if you hear me shuffling a little bit, I do have cards with me. But it's there is some memorization, but it's less like sitting down and memorizing a book and more about using your intuition to understand what the cards are saying to you. And oftentimes when you find a deck that really resonates with you, it will have imagery that allows you to easily understand the meaning of each card. So you look at it and you can see this picture and it makes you feel a certain way. It makes you think a certain thing, right? Like you will have an immediate reaction to it and a response to it. And so we kind of like dive into that as we're doing a reading.
Oh, that's awesome. You did mention you have cards on you. Maybe we could get into a reading now to have the audience have a quick experience of that.
Yeah. Let's do a group reading.
Yes, we could do it with me. What information do you need?
Not really. I'm gonna keep shuffling these cards a little bit. I'm using a deck that's called the Wild Unknown, which is a really beautiful deck. All of the cards have animal imagery on them. So there aren't any humans, which I really like. I love this animal deck. So for anyone who's not familiar with the tarot, there are two parts to the deck. We have the major arcana and the minor arcana. The major arcana are our magic cards, so when they show up, we want to pay extra special attention. And they're the cards that also correspond to the human soul's evolution. So we start with the Fool at the very beginning, and we come all the way up through the World. And so the Fool is like the very beginning of the journey, and away we go, and the World is very completed, healed energy. And so there are 22 of them, and they start with 0 and go up to number 21. And then the minor arcana is set up more like a traditional playing deck. So you have 4 suits, ace through 10, and then you've got 4 court cards instead of 3. So it will be a king and a queen, and then a knight and a page, sometimes prince and princess. This particular deck is father, mother, son, and daughter. And those cards correspond more to the people in our lives or the characteristics of those cards within ourselves. And the 4 suits also have equivalents in each of the 4 elements. So wands are fire, passion, drive, creativity. Cups are our water, that's our feelings, our emotions. Swords are air, that is communication, intellect, mental state and ability, knowledge, language, information, technology. And then pentacles or discs or coins are earth, and that's our physical, our material, our manifest. So that's kind of a really quick rundown on the tarot. Do you have any questions? I know that was kind of fast.
No, that was pretty interesting. I have a slight understanding of it already, but I like how you put it.
Yeah, it feels like that, that's kind of like a really bite-sized way to just like get an idea of what we're looking at overall. Because when you look at it, you're like, oh, that's 78 cards. That's a little overwhelming.
Right.
So, all right. So I'm going to give us one more round of shuffles here, and then I'm going to cut this deck. And I think we are going to do a general reading about what will help you, what will hinder you, and what is your unrealized or your untapped potential.
Awesome. If we could mix in love advice or intuition, that'd be great. And that's pretty cool how you say you mix in your own intuition to understanding what the card is depicting. That definitely takes some time and skill, and also connecting with, I guess, spirit and the cards, so that spirit can use them as a tool to speak to you or us.
Yeah, absolutely. Some people might find something in here about love. Some people might not. Some people might find things in here about their career or their families or their friends or, their pets or their plants. Like, who knows, right? Everyone's going to find a different way to resonate with it. But these three cards that we're going to pull, we're going to see what will help you first, then what will hinder you, and then what is your unrealized or your untapped potential. And so if you're listening to this reading's meant for you.
Great.
Cool. So what will help you? Oh, wow. We have, and I wish you could see these cards. Oh, I wish you could see these cards. I'll take a picture and email it to you if you'd like.
Yeah. Right
now, the first one we pull is the Five of Swords. And so remember, our swords, that's our air. So that's our communication, our intellect, our knowledge, information, technology. And the 5 in this particular deck shows a worm that has been sliced in half. It's a pretty brutal looking card. And I think what it's saying is, like, what is going to help is cutting away the parts of you that no longer serve you. And it's like, it might be really painful. Like, this card looks very painful because there are 5 swords here, and they have literally sliced this being in half. The thing about worms is that they, depending on where they get cut in half, they can go on to heal and live and, become a whole new worm. But you have to take out the part that's not working anymore.
Right. Interesting.
And that's what's going to help. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, no, that makes sense. I've already been doing that. The spirit has been telling me to kind of separate myself from either friends or family that aren't, part that are part of the expansive universe that I'm exploring, and
that aren't on the side to expansion.
Yeah, and that are stuck in either religion or just basic life things.
Yeah, totally. But also, I think and this card is right side up. When I pulled it, it was the right side up direction. Sometimes when they come out upside down, we call that an inversion or a reversal, and that there are a couple of different ways you can interpret that. I like to read it as the internal or like self-expression of a card. And so this makes sense that you say that because the upright is more of an external expression of a card. But I do think it's still inviting us to cut out the parts of ourselves, not just our lives. So it's like, yes, there might be people, situations that have to go, but also like habits and belief systems and, social structures that maybe don't work for us anymore. Like, there are things that we have to examine and sort of like Marie Kondo our life. And it's like, what actually brings you joy? And if it doesn't, it's got to go.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's great. All right, let's see what will hinder us. The Daughter of Swords. Wow, air. So the Daughter of Swords in this particular deck is the swords are owls. They use owls as the court cards, and she's this beautiful snowy white owl that's shrouded in darkness and has these really beautifully colored lights or stars or something around her and behind her, and she's standing on a sword. And the daughter is the page energy, so it's very young. It's like very, very young. And I think this card is also upside down, which, like I said, one way to interpret that is the internal expression of this card. And I think it's saying, like, there's new information within ourselves that we have to tap into, and if we don't, we're going to have a big problem.
Oh, wow, interesting.
The other thing this could be saying is there's another way that I like to read reversals, which is this is something that needs to be dropped or released from your life. And so I would say the other thing I could say with this is, like, you might have to release people who are, like, new information. No, that doesn't feel right. But maybe it's like be wary of people's new information. Until you get enough source, you can't really trust it.
Yeah, like everyone's trying to be a mentor based on their level of understanding and want to share a program, something that they're selling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right, and it's just like be wary of where you place your trust in information and people.
Yeah, I see how that could affect me in business and work. As far as like I said, the different mentors or people I may work with, doing my due diligence to even make sure that, you know, whatever information they're sharing is even factual or can help me or whatnot. Right. So you said tarot is kind of like a way to confirm things you may have been feeling already. So I could see why a lot of this kind of makes sense.
Yeah, it's resonating for you?
Yeah, that's the word, resonating. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, it's so true. Like, especially if I'm doing a group reading and there's like one person sort of driving the train, oftentimes we will be very resonant for that person. So I'm not surprised and quite delighted that you're feeling into this. Shall we see what
I'm all about? For sure, definitely.
Our unrealized or untapped potential. Oh my God, we got another sword.
Holy crap. I need to buy one. I'm about to go buy a sword.
This is the Seven of Swords. And the Seven of Swords has 6 that are prominently and beautifully displayed, like on a wall. And then there's a little fox at the bottom who's curled up. He's got one eye open, and he's holding on to the 7th sword. And this card is oftentimes about, like, you don't have all the information, or you're not supposed to share all of the information, or you're maybe supposed to hang on to some of your knowledge for yourself, or maybe the knowledge that you are sitting on for yourself needs to be shared with the world.
Oh, could be that, definitely.
Actually, what feels more resonant.
You said that feels more resonant?
To me, it does. That, like, whatever info you're sitting on, like, is the unrealized or untapped potential. It's not sitting on any information. It's not the potential. It's the information that you're sitting on.
Right. Yeah. Sometimes I'm not sure if you heard of Clubhouse, but I find myself sometimes not wanting to speak out on Clubhouse and wanting to just listen to see what people are resonating with. But maybe that's not what I should be doing. I should be kind of like what I did in the beginning of this podcast episode and kind of share things that I'm aware of or my angle or perspective of it. Again, might be able to open someone else's idea or perspective to bring even more information. So I could see that as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, Three Swords. Right,
When's your
3
birthday?
swords in a row.
Are you an air sign?
I think I'm a ground. August 27th. I believe that's ground.
So you're Virgo. Yeah, you are Earth. Yeah, you are Earth. That's really well. That makes sense though, because Earth and air balance each other out the way water and fire do.
Right.
Gosh, that's
interesting.
Wild. I wish I could show. I can't wait to send you a picture of these because it's really crazy. Most of them, some of the swords are pointing. All 3 cards have swords pointing in the same direction, and the 2 of them have them also pointing in the other direction.
Yeah, if you want, you could just text it to me, and I'll post it on my social media, and I'll promote your tarot reading and stuff.
To you, it's pretty rad.
Yeah, and I actually just hopped on to Congress.gov, and I found the House Resolution 642, recognizing magic as a rare and valuable art form and national treasure. It states, in the House of Representatives, March 14, 2016, resolution recognizing magic as a rare and valuable art form and national treasure. Whereas magic is an art form with the unique power and potential to impact the lives of all people, whereas magic enables people to experience the impossible, whereas magic is used to inspire and bring wonder and happiness to others, whereas magic has had a significant impact on other art forms, whereas magic, like the great forms of dance, literature, theater, film, and the visual arts, allows people to experience something that transcends the written word, whereas many technological advances can be directly traced to the influential work of magicians, whereas futurist Arthur C. Clarke claimed that any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic, that's actual a law of science, where the more technology advances, you can't tell if it's technology or some sort of magic.
Yeah.
And it goes on to a lot. I'll send you this as well so you can see. Yeah, the U.S. definitely supports magic and its actual statutes and codes, and recognizes it as an art form. So yeah, I definitely appreciate you with that reading. That was amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, I loved getting the chance to. I always love getting to connect with people and getting to, introduce tarot or reintroduce tarot or help deepen their tarot. It's so fun to me.
Definitely. And how do people connect with you to do tarot readings? Do you have a site or?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at Emily Ann MCG. Emily Ann, it's ANNE MCG. And my website is through there, but it's also EmilyMcGillEntertainment.com.
Oh, that's
and
amazing.
You can sign up for a tarot reading, and check out the other stuff that I do. Got a lot of fun things.
Definitely. I noticed you also have the Pink Tank.
Yeah, we're on hiatus right now for the Pink Tank. It got to be a lot during the pandemic, holding digital space for everybody. We had started as an in-person gathering here in New York, so I think we'll get back to that at some point, but I just needed some space from it for a minute. So we're on hiatus, but S.N.O.B is my Broadway dance party that I throw with 2 brilliant DJs, DJ Duggs and DJ Ari Grooves. And, we just have a great time dancing, and hanging out.
That's awesome. Bringing the community together in a positive way. That's awesome. Do you have a upcoming event for S.N.O.B, or is that on a hiatus until after COVID?
We have our next event for S.N.O.B is going to be on actually the Sunday night of the Tony Awards, which is September 26th. We're doing it at a karaoke club here in Midtown Manhattan in the Theater District, so that we can watch the Tony Awards and then dance the night away. So yeah, you can find us at S.N.O.B Bway. It's S.N.O.B BWAY on Instagram, and that's pretty much how we communicate with our community.
That's amazing. And also, being that you do like modern PR, and PR has changed a lot because of social media, you also co-authored The Career Rebel's Guide to Modern PR. For people that maybe either want to get into PR or interested in switching up their career paths, what are some tips you can share with the audience about, relevant to that book you wrote and how you were actual career rebel?
Yeah, so it's actually not a book, it's a course that people can learn how to create their own PR, either business, or if they have a small business and they're looking to get PR but don't necessarily have the budget to hire someone, but maybe they have an assistant or a staffer, or they themselves want to learn how to amplify and sort of level up the visibility of their business. It's a great way for people to do that. There are some really great tips that we like to share in there, like pod matches would be one of them. Also, HARO, which is Help a Reporter Out, is a really cool thing that you can take a look at and sign up. It sends 3 emails every day, and they have different folks who are looking for sources. And so it's a way reporters can connect with people who might fit the bill for a story that they're writing. And sometimes you get hits from it, sometimes you don't, but it's a great place to start because it allows you to start practicing writing pitches for yourself. The other thing you could do is take a look at when you're reading about something that's in your industry or it's what you do, look and see who wrote it and see what else they've written. Do a little research on them. If you like what they've done or you like what they've written, most places it's not very hard to find an email address, and you can just reach out and say like, hey, I really like that piece you wrote. Thank you. This is what I do. This is who I am. So introducing yourself to people and expanding your network of people who are journalists is another, I think, really good tip.
Definitely. And to go along with Podmatch, there's also Audrey, AUDRY.io, which is another way to grow an audience and connect with different podcasts. So I appreciate those are some really great tips and insights for people to use. And I've been using HARO for a while now. It's great. It's got me on AP News a lot of times. Yes. So again, thank you so much, Emily McGill. Hopefully I can stop by one of your parties one of these days. And
yes.
That'd be great. And, keep up the great work in the community.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And thank you for the opportunity to connect and read cards and just have a good conversation.
Anytime. I'll be sure to text you the information on the HR 642, and we can keep on networking and building. Have a really great rest of your day.
Thank you. You too.
Bye. And there you have it, Muskova Media Podcast listeners, the amazing Emily McGill, who was talking tarot and expressing her amazing advice and tips on career, as well as how you really use tarot in the correct way. She's an amazing publicist and has been doing great work in the community, so it's been an honor to have her on the show. Be sure to listen to this show with your friends and comrades, and also share it with people on social media, and let's get this great information to the masses. So I want to thank my listeners from all over the globe, especially those in the U.S. I love my hometown. Let's keep doing what we do, rocking out over here. And also the people in South America, to Europe, to India, to the folks in Africa. Definitely appreciate y'all for listening to the show. and we'll be sure to expand to more networks so that we can, make sure that you get the information and the show news the quickest. But for now, you can definitely find us on Spotify, Google Podcasts, iTunes, iTunes Podcasts, iHeartRadio. I believe we're on Pandora as well. Just look up Muskova Media Podcast and we should pop up, and you can listen to us at your leisure and at pleasure on whichever network is best for you. But again, I really, really am thankful to you listeners, to SAG-AFTRA for allowing us to be part of your union, and let's continue to do great work. Shout out to our sponsor again, Muskova Enterprises, Inc., which is a full-service digital marketing platform, agency, where you can get all your digital marketing, either websites or SEO or app building or website building, funnel building, landing pages, whatever you may need that you want to make sure that you get your business more awareness all over the globe, or even just localized if that's what you choose, because some businesses just need some local SEO and organic search, as well as social media posting. So everybody, let's stay sane, let's stay healthy, let's continue to create multiple income streams. I am so joyful and thankful for having so many lucrative and successful income streams that just make life easier and, help me solve problems and create solutions for myself and friends and family. I'm just so thankful for all that. I'm thankful for being able to participate in real estate and be successful in that as well, and do what I do there, and thankful for the opportunity to act and model with so many different amazing brands. As a matter of fact, I got to answer some emails and check some texts for that, as well as thankful for being able to podcast. So just let's continue to do good work, and we will see you next time, my wonderful, amazing listeners.